Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the legendary psychic flying-type Pokemon Lugia, the Diving Pokémon. Renowned as guardians of the ocean and a fearsome force to be reckoned with in any capacity, Lugia are magnificent creatures that can more than bring some power to the table when called upon to fight.
Lugia have a unique semi-avian form with white hair, three-toed feet, and unusually large five-fingered hands that can be flapped, enabling these beasts to fly and swim through the water with incredible ease. They have a series of dark blue flaps on their backs that use to help them power up their psychic abilities, as well as a pair on their tail to help with steering, and their head, connected to their torso by a very long neck, has small black eyes with a crest of blue material on each side of their face around their eyes, giving their form an imposing and streamlined look.
Because of their exceptional rarity, little is actually known about Lugia in terms of their anatomy and behavior. What little there is to tell, however, serves perfectly as a testament to their immense power.
The broad wings of Lugia are specially designed to work equally well above and below the water, much like wooden oars. Unfortunately, this makes flight dangerous for creatures above ground, as a simple flap of their wings in the air is enough to topple an entire house. It has even been observed that Lugia are capable of generating massive storms lasting anywhere from 10 to 40 days merely by quickly flapping their wings in the air. They do not do this sort of thing on purpose, it must be noted, and is merely a consequence of the immense telekinetic and physical power they possess. To keep the world safe from such horrendous storms, Lugia spend much of their time hidden beneath the waves with their back flaps lowered onto the frame, finding their home amongst deep-sea ocean current close to the seafloor. This rarity means that they often are only spoken of in legend, some believing that they may not even exist at all. But those beliefs are quickly dispatched every time these creatures make their presence known, as their forms are extremely iconic and very easy to identify. Despite the horrendous power at their control, Lugia are actually rather peaceful creatures that take their time in isolation to raise their young, being one of the few legendary Pokemon completely confirmed to lay eggs, and they are usually friendly to those that can prove that they wish them no harm. Even so, great caution is recommended when approaching them, as they can be extremely aggressive at defending their young and will not back down from any fight they are forced into.
As far as their combat abilities go, as mentioned before, Lugia are rather peaceful creatures that prefer to avoid fights and interact with others in a more peaceful manner if possible. If forced into a combat scenario, however, these creatures have more than a few surprises to make them a formidable force to contend with.
For one thing, these creatures naturally gain a number of powerful and varied attacks that can make them highly versatile in the types of opponents they can tackle and face head-on. While their offensive power is not as strong as some others, they more than make up for this with powerful bulky defenses and the capacity to take damage fairly well, especially since they have access to a recover technique that can make them a pain to have to deal with. Most importantly, however, Lugia are armed with a powerful and potentially devastating attack that is completely unique to them, known as the Aero Blast attack. In essence, this move is executed when Lugia use their psychic powers to whip up a powerful cyclone of air inside of them before unleashing it as a horizontal blast of air-cutting energized wind. This attack is decently powerful on its own, but what makes it so dangerous is that it can cut through the defenses of a target fairly easily once it makes contact, giving the attack an enhanced chance of scoring a critical hit, helping to make up for Lugia's only moderately strong offensive stats. In addition, these creatures have such an intimidating presence to them that they usually have access to pressure as their only base ability, but extremely rare specimens that have mutated hair capable of deflecting some energy-based strikes when they are at maximum health can also have multi-skill as a hidden ability. All of this is only added on to by their base stats, as while these creatures are indeed lacking on offensive power, as already noted, everything else about them shines through greatly, their base HP, defense, special defense, and speed stats all being above average for fully evolved psychic and flying-type Pokemon, granting them the highest base special defense stat out of all flying-type Pokemon, tied with Ho-Oh, and the highest base stat total out of all flying-type Pokemon, tied with Ho-Oh, Rayquaza, and Yveltal, and psychic-type Pokemon, tied with Mewtwo, Hoopa, Unbound, Solgaleo, and Lunala, overall making them a truly legendary beast worth respecting in all encounters. Lugia have been involved in a number of instances over the past years, but there are two in particular that are exceptionally noteworthy. The first of these is the infamous Orange Islands incident. Many years ago, Lawrence III, a rich gentleman who saw himself as a collector of Pokemon, had apparently read the ancient legend of Shamuti Island, which described how fire, ice, and lightning who disrupt the flow of the world and lead the world to ruin without the power of the Chosen One, and misinterpreted it as meaning that the capturing of the legendary birds situated in the Orange Islands would reveal the legend's beast of the sea, Lugia, and that he himself was the Chosen One. As such, Lawrence began to capture the legendary bird stations in the Orange Islands using a self-built aerial battleship the size of a small city, brutally capturing them with painful and damaging containment fields. Unfortunately, Lawrence III did not understand that the beast of the sea was not Lugia, but in fact a tremendous deep-sea current that flows through Shamuti Island, which, if disturbed, could alter the flow of water and oceans worldwide and create massive climatic shifts. Thankfully, a young boy and his friends managed to partially stop Lawrence's activities, but not before Lugia was revealed and nearly captured by Lawrence. In the throes of death, the Lugia managed to deal irreversible damage to Lawrence's ship with its aeroblast attack, leaving Lawrence with nothing but the ancient Mew card his collection had started with. The young boy was revealed to be the true Chosen One and, through the power of Shamuti Island's ancient relics, was able to revive the Lugia, which subsequently calmed the legendary birds and prevented the deep-sea current from being completely disrupted. Additionally, there was the second Shadow Crisis, which involved the resurrection of the criminal organization known as Cypher in the Ori region more than a decade ago. After the organization was effectively destroyed by a trainer named Wes, some of its remaining scientists continued to work on the existing Shadow technology, hoping to make a more efficient weapon than ever before. Unfortunately, a lack of funding prevented much research from being conducted, thus leaving the remaining members at odds. That is, until a generous benefactor by the name of Mr. Varich, aka Grandmaster Greevil, stepped in.
It is now known that Greevil was in fact the true leader behind Cypher's actions during the first Shadow Crisis, and merely stayed out of the limelight in case things fell through. With the loss of his second-in-command, Greevil had no choice but to take a hold of the situation and take care of things himself.
Under Greevil's new leadership, Shadow technology advanced in leaps and bounds, resulting in the advent of different types of Shadow moves other than just Shadow Rush, which was the only Shadow move known by pre-XD Shadow Pokémon that were designed to take advantage of a Pokémon's natural abilities. But Greevil had something even better in mind. He planned to create a Shadow Pokémon that could not be purified under any circumstance. After stealing information from the world's top scientists, Greevil decided to utilize a Pokémon that is both powerful offensively and defensively as his prime subject, Lugia. In the end, Greevil was able to transform a captured Lugia into XD001, the very first Shadow Pokémon that was supposedly immune to purification. With his new weapon, Greevil stole Pokémon from the SS Libra and began converting them into Shadow Pokémon, beginning Cypher's second reign of terror in the Ori region. Thanks to the efforts of a young boy named Michael, however, Greevil's plans were thwarted, Cypher was finally defeated for good, and a method for purifying XD001 was discovered. It is unknown what happened to the captured Lugia after it was purified, but it is assumed that it was eventually released back into the wild.
While I cannot say that I personally have ever had the chance to see one of these creatures in person, I know my husband has, and he's told plenty of tales about how they looked and behaved. He seems to have come across many strange and powerful beasts in his time. That being said, these protectors really do just want the world to be at peace, and do their part to keep the peace while they try and live their own lives in the wild. I've always wondered what it might be like to ride on one, soaring through the skies on such a majestic creature. But at the same time, I fear I might be a bit too heavy for that to work. Either way, these creatures are gentle and caring and will always be willing to help those in need, so if you ever get the chance to find or have one help you out of a dangerous situation, do the right thing and pay respect to them, as they usually only come out when they feel there is no other way to keep the world around them at peace.
Majestic in both form and behavior, and more than capable of blowing away those that dare to challenge them, Lugia are incredible beasts that serve as the guardians of the sea and protectors of the pure of heart in every fashion. The chances of one encountering one of these beasts is pretty much slim to none, but for the few that are lucky enough to actually find one, they are an imposing force that only the greatest of trainers will ever likely stand a chance against.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you are prepared for the worst if an encounter with a Lugia is what you seek. They may not be as outwardly aggressive as some legendary Pokemon, but they can still use the might of the seas and the air to pummel you and prove why they truly are guardians humanity can trust to keep the world intact.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus, and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.